As you can tell from the title, we're bagging her. There's my shit. Well, those are actually just the struts. Here is the tank. Over here, we have a line, compressor, all the necessities. Yeah, so as you can tell, I got the struts brand new, and then I got these off a boy of mine. Yeah, he sold his car, parted it out, so I bought the management off him, and it should be working good as new. So what we're gonna be doing is installing the front and rear airlift struts along with running the management. I already have my remote over there already set up and everything, so it should be a little bit easier. I got a hybrid, so you already know the battery's back here, so this install should be pretty easy. Tank, we're gonna try and mount it up here and hide everything so you can't really see any of the management or compressors. I'm not sure exactly where I'm gonna put them, but we'll find out once we start ripping this trunk apart. So stay tuned, we in the laboratory. All right, so first things first, we're going to jack up the car, all four sides. So we're gonna start here. Make sure you get it from the little pinch weld there. And so yeah, jack up all four sides. All right, so all four sides are now jacked up. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is remove all the wheels. And I guess the reason why we're doing that, obviously, is to remove the stock suspension. So yeah, we'll get started on that. Out of experience, you're gonna wanna put these lug nuts back on so you don't lose them. Let's go see these two. Ah, piece of cake. Perfect. All right, well that's all the wheels on. All right, so we're going to start with mounting up the tank. The way we're gonna do it is we're gonna use some rib nuts. First things first that we're gonna do is we're gonna take off this cover. We're gonna run a couple of air lines through here. So the reason why we're taking this cover off is to look behind there and see where exactly we can land the rib nuts. All right, so we got that taken off of there. So what we're gonna do is after mounting the tank up there, we notice we're not gonna be able to use both of the little mounting holes that it comes with. We're only gonna be able to use two, and that's because we cannot drill into this panel because then it'll come out the other side. So what we're gonna do is drill into here and mount it up with two. See how that holds up. I'll keep you guys updated if it falls, breaks, or stressing out the trunk too much. But yeah, right now we're just gonna hold it up, mark the holes and drill it, and show you guys how to use the rib nut. All right, so we put the two rib nuts in there. We haven't locked them in yet. They're still movable. That's where we're putting them. So now we grab our handy rivet gun and twist it on there and squeeze. Put it on there. Perfect. So there you have it. That's our rib nut installed. So now we can mount this up, place it up there, and screw it in. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna try to see if it'll hold it. All right, so it's on there. Not tight, but it's on there. You can tell I need shorter bolts. I haven't threaded them all the way. They're just really hard to get in there, so I only want to do it once, and that's for the final one. But now I know it lines up and it matches the holes. It'll be sitting like that, just nice and tucked. So now we can kind of get through the clearing out all my trunk and seeing where I'm gonna mount everything and run everything. Yeah, so let's clean this bitch up. Boom. So my car unfortunately does not have a spare tire well, and as you can tell, I have a hybrid battery that's right there. So my trunk space is very limited as opposed to if you were to have the regular 3-liter turbo or 3.7. So I'm gonna take out all of this and see where I can fit that shit. So there you have it. My two little panels are taken off. What I'm trying to hide now is gonna be the compressor and the management. So over here, it's kind of looking like a good spot for the management. Maybe somewhere tucked in here. Compressor, I can maybe mount it to this thing here somehow. I don't know. Let me see what I can figure out. That's how it's looking. All right, guys, so after looking, I can't really mount anything anywhere in here. I think I'm gonna have one compressor chilling up here. It's for the management. I'm just gonna run it, put it right there where the service manual thing was for my car. Run it there and run the lines out. I am gonna be running them under the car, so I'm gonna go through some of the grommets that are under here. Yeah, so right now I'm gonna put the wires, get them all kind of cluttered in here and start wiring this bad boy up and see how I'm gonna run the one wire to the remote, because our battery's right there. And we have an accessory fuse in there. So should be a pretty easy wire install. All right guys, so what I have done is I actually am gonna run the management sideways like this, so I can run all the lines kind of through here. I got most of the wiring already ready. The compressor, I just crimped the 2 wires here and there. You can tell which one's for the compressor by looking at the one that has this this little adapter. This adapter is if you want to add a second compressor, but I don't have a second compressor harness or the second compressor, so I can't do that. This wire here is the one that hooks up straight to the battery. Got a 30 amp fuse in there, red to positive, black to ground. Pretty straightforward. Then we got the accessory one. I have mine plugged in there. This one here is for my Starlight headliner, but this is going to be for the bags. This taps into accessories, and I'm just running it back there, down in here. So now what is left on the wiring is the remote. That is the one cable I'm gonna have to run to the front of the car. So I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna get back there. I might use the same path I did as the headliner, but I'm gonna see if there's an easier way. So yeah, that kind of does it for the wiring. Very simple. Big plug kind of plugs in there. One ends up there, one ends up here. But it's good, it's going good, it's looking good. I'm gonna have to take out my back seats. That's where I'm going. To take out your rear struts or shocks or whatever you want to call them, it's one big nut here and 2 up top. You have to take out the seats on every single Q to get back in there. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take the seats out now. It should just be a little tab down here. You see that? You pull it and you pull up and it should come out. And then this is gonna be 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll show you guys once I get this one out. All right, so we got them out. It's just 4 14mm nuts on the hybrids. It's all one piece in the back. I know there's some that these little rests come off, but it still should be 14 here, 14 there, there, and there. After that, you just kind of lift up and you pull out. And I can't really do this with one here, but yeah. All right, so popped out the seats, and now in order to get access to the strut, it helps if you take off this clip, those clips there, just so you can kind of pull this up a little bit. But it's gonna be these looks like 12 or 10mm on both sides, and that will give you access to the struts. Looks like you need an extension to get to that one over there. All right, so the reason why this wouldn't come out is because there's actually 2 little bolts in there, as you can see that. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to pop this out in order to get that in there. And then they slide out. I have my Starlight shit in there. You shouldn't have that in there. 3 bolts to take that off are in there. As you can see, I have some wires running in there. The wires reach into the trunk, so I might run it through there. All right guys, so what I'm gonna do to get that thing to run this way is, you see there's like this where the harness kind of goes in. If you notice, it has a bunch of plastic around it, so I can either drill a hole or follow where this cable comes from and bust it out through there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run this cable over there, tie the Airlift controller wire to it, and then pull it through. All right, so this is the wire that we ran through. It's going over there. You can see we just taped it up. So I'm gonna pull it now, and Tuefin is going to guide it in over here. So now this is gonna run along down there as far as it can go, and then we're gonna grab that is the other end of it. There's some coiled up in the box, run it across and go in there. All right, so after further examination, I noticed that this cable is actually not that long. So what we're gonna do now is tuck it in there, in here with that. And so the way we're gonna run the other cable is we're gonna run it this way and pass it through under here. It's kind of hard to tell, but I'll show you a little bit better. Pass it under here into the center console there. All right guys, so we got both of the rear struts out. As you can see, they are out. It's just the one bolt that was here that we talked about. Here's the rear strut, and here's the Airlift one. Right off the bat, you get a nice big drop, but as you can see, this one doesn't come with a top hat, so we have to reuse this one. And I went to AutoZone and picked up this here. It's a spring compressor, and what you do is place this on here, compress it, then loosen that one bolt out, and pretty much transfer all the hardware from here onto this one. Yeah, so I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so super annoying, but in order to get enough length for the remote, take the center console off and lift it up. It's pretty much just a couple bolts here and there. You pop off the rear ashtray, couple bolts in there. So what I did is I ran a wire through here from there. We're gonna do the same process that we did back there and run this in the center. Works is when you put this on there, tighten it down. It compresses the spring, so when you loosen this, it doesn't shoot out and potentially kill someone. So I feel pretty safe with just using one. I recommend using two, but there's the nut. Since the nut is off now, you can go ahead and you can loosen this bad boy up now. So you can see the whole thing kind of fell apart. Here's what we want. And we just transfer it over to the other one. You remove that little dust stopper, whatever it's called. Place it on there. You reuse the old nut. Always hand thread it first to make sure you don't strip it out. Then put on the, and just tighten that bad boy right back up. Well. As for the front struts, you want to loosen up those 3 bolts. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and it looks like they're 12 millimeters. Down here, you want to remove all these. I'm pretty sure this is for the speed sensor. Remove those, so these kind of just slide out of, yeah, they just kind of slide out of the spot like that. You got to loosen this bolt up and remove this bracket here, and that's going to be this bolt and the other 2 down there. Once you do that, it should just pop right out. All right, so I got them all tightened down. If you guys end up having problems with your strut inside of there just spinning while you're using the gun on there, what you got to do is you got to get your 17 millimeter, stick it in there, grab an Allen key, put it in there, and then hold them as you twist, and that way you can get them on there good. So now let's I'm gonna go ahead and prep all of them with the airlines over here. I'm all with this stuff here. And yeah, so what we're gonna need is some Teflon. You can either use Teflon tape or the Teflon paste. I went with the paste. It's just easier to apply. Yeah, I'll show you guys exactly how to do that. It's a quick little pro tip. I just realized that I left these little rubber stoppers on. You don't have to, so take those off, but I'm not gonna take those off. But you see that little metal gold piece in there? Don't forget to put that in, because I already have to take them off to leave that in there, or to put it back in there, I guess you should say. And it comes with all your fittings, so when you grab your fittings, it's in that same baggie with it. So just don't do what I did and put that gold piece in there first. Also take this for the springs. It's not gonna hurt anything if it's in there, but you know, it doesn't have to be in there. All right, so all your struts should have came with I think these are called leader hoses. And as you can see, if they're brand new, they already have this orange Teflon coating on it. So you don't need to apply Teflon tape or the Teflon paste or anything like that. So they literally just thread in there, and then you can do that to all 4 of them. And they all have it on the bottom there. All right, so I did one of them. So here's what it should look like. Plugged in there, plugged in here. So this one's ready to go in. I'm going to adjust the height on them, see what it's at, see what I like. Not 100% sure yet. I need to find out what wheels are gonna go on there and actually gonna fit. Another thing I forgot to mention was when you're putting these in, you don't want to go all the way in there. You don't want to over tighten it. What you want to do is just thread it in there by hand. All right, so you get it in there, you hand tight it, then you grab your wrench, and I believe you go 2.5 turns. So that was a quarter turn, half a turn, quarter turn. So that right there should be 1 full turn. I believe it was 1.5 because it's already kind of tight. So you just do 2 more of those. Yeah, and that should be it, and that should not leak. I'm trusting Airlift's little Teflon on there, so hopefully it doesn't let me down and it actually seals properly. If not, I'm gonna have to come back and redo all this shit. But yeah, so after it's hand tight, I believe it's a turn and a half, a full turn and a half a turn, and you should be good. It might be different for various applications, but that's usually a rule of thumb that I've read about online. Yeah, you'll kind of know. It's kind of like a feeling thing. When you're tightening it, you're gonna know like, oh, you don't want to go any tighter than that. But yeah, we'll do these to the 4 of them and start slapping them in. All right guys, so all the bags are mounted up and everything, so all we got to do is run lines now. That was one of the rears. Here's the other one. It's up there, nice and snug. Same thing with the fronts, those in there, and same thing on the other side. So now what we're gonna focus on is running the lines and seeing where we're gonna pass them through. So I'm going to dig around in here and look under the car and see what's the best route to take. All right guys, so every single side of the car has the airline ran to it. On this ones, you can tell we tucked it under there, and we've only used zip ties so far to hold it up. So you can see the zip tie under there, We popped off this panel here, a couple of 10mm screws, ran the line all the way back and out through here. As you can see, zip there, rainbows over, connects with this one. But yeah, so it runs all the way from here, you know, rainbows up over there, same thing there, all the way into one of the grommets on the trunk floorboard over there. Same thing for that side. We ran it across, rainbows over. This one's still open, but we need to cut those zip ties still too. All zip tied it across with the fuel lines, all the way over. This one, we use one of the zip ties with the little holes. Everything in the trunk's almost ready. I'm just running the lines for the tank. So now what's next is to use some of this, the thread sealant on this, and that. That's gonna be for all our fittings on here that didn't already come with the coating on them, or if we're reusing them. But yeah, I'll show you guys how to do this. So the thread sealant, you just wanna put a bead across the top, kind of like that. And what I do is I just use my dirty finger and smear it all around the threading, like so. And this stuff dries too, so it's gonna be wet when it's applied. And now we can thread it in. Same kind of rule applies like I told you guys before with the bags. Once it's hand tight, you guys are gonna wanna do a full turn and a half. Like I said before, we found this. This also works too. Muscles. You wanna do that. I am throwing one of these on because I'm gonna be using one of the tire inflators. And it's going on the other side. So hand tight, and there's the half. Should be good. Like I said, you don't want it to be super tight, but you just want it to be snug. Get a dirty towel and clean the excess sealer off the threads for a nice look before it dries, because once it dries, it's there forever. Since I bought my tank used and it already had the one back here, but same thing goes for the one down here. And this is the air release, which comes with this. And just so you guys know, I didn't show you me plugging in the lines, but a push to connect fitting, you literally just push it in, pull out, and if that means it's good, you want to take it out, push the little gray thing, pop it out. All right, so it's gonna go in there. I'm gonna push it in and pull out. As you can tell, now it's stuck in there. And this is gonna be my air release, so when I want to drain the tank, pull that. Yeah, that is that. We just need to plug in the wire, the battery post, and the negative post. The bags should be working and running well. Another thing you don't want to do is you don't want to put the car on the tires and let it go without airing up the bags first, because you can ruin your bags, especially if they're the sleeve kind, like the ones in the front. The ones in the rear are double bellow, I think that's how you pronounce it. They pretty much have like two little things here. In the front, they're sleeves. So, you know, it's just one single kind of deal there. Yeah, so before we go too much further with everything, I want to make sure it all works. So we're going to plug that in and air up the bags and see if we have any leaks or anything. All right, so we went ahead and added air, as you can see, to all the bags. So now we can mount the tires and put the car on all fours. As you can tell, or you can hear. Okay, that's the engine, but there's no air coming out of there, neither in the rear, from what it seems like. But after noticing, if you hear that, the compressor, it's leaking. So I'm going to have to redo the fitting on here because nothing else is leaking. These ones aren't leaking, that's not leaking, it's not leaking here or here. All the other bags are fine as well. We're gonna go ahead and do that, but first we're gonna put this car back on all fours, get the first air out. All right guys, so we ran the lines, we put air in the system, but it's kind of late, so we're just going to finish everything up tomorrow and put the wheels back on and air it out tomorrow morning, get everything tidied up, because if we stay here, we're gonna be here for at least another hour and a half, fucking putting the whole car back together and cleaning up the garage. So we're just gonna continue tomorrow, but we know it works, so yeah, see you in the morning. All right, good morning fellas. So we got a little ahead of ourselves and forgot we were recording a vlog, but this is all set up. It's nice, tight on there. It was a bitch to get those bolts, but as you can tell, we have to do some very ugly cuts in order for this to sit in there correctly, but when you're looking at it, you know, it's not as bad. But I went ahead and threw the wheels on and aired out the front. It looks angry now. The back is aired up right now, so it's not like fully aired out, but yes sir. But I'm going to finish up zip tying all these lines and making everything look pretty and putting it all back together. You guys will see the finished product. All right guys, so this pretty much is it. As you can see, I got all the lines trimmed up, zip tied, ran, everything's looking nice. Also zip tied all that goes up into the cabin. One thing I forgot to mention is don't forget your water trap. Same kind of deal, you just get the 2 fittings. It all comes in the box brand new if you buy it new. And this one goes from the tank into the management. So as you can see, I have it zip tied all the way back. But the main thing about this is you want it to be mounted and you want it to be straight up and down, or else it will not work. Also pay attention onto here. You can see the direction it's supposed to go to. And from here is going left to right. So from the tank into the management. As far as all this goes now, I'm gonna put everything back together and find a good mounting spot for the compressor up top and run the line. That's gonna be it. And then it's just putting the whole car back together. Car is fully aired out. Yeah, we're on an uneven surface, but it's aired out. I still got some adjusting to do with the dampening and everything, but that's how it's looking. So I'll show you guys the final product once it's all tidied up in there and put back together. Boom, check it out. Very simple look. Big tank up there. I couldn't find anywhere to put that compressor. Either side, it wouldn't fit, so that's just where it's gonna live. It's a little awkward, but I might get a second compressor mounted up on that side. I still need to clip a bunch of this shit in, but it's kind of just mocked up in there for now. But that's pretty much the look. Very simple, plain, but it's gonna work. Everything's under here. Hell yeah. Now we just got to finish cleaning up the interior, putting the seats back together and everything, and then take it out. Show you a couple of shots with it aired out on flat ground. So this is what I got. Fill up my tires, same kind of concept. You have to buy the adapters for it. Got this at Harbor Freight. The whole kit ran me like 30 bucks. So that's what this fitting over here was for, in order to connect these. So the way you connect it is pull it back and you push it in. Now it's connected. So now if I'm ever low on air, you know, we got air, baby. If you ever need air, hit me up. I got you 25 bucks per tire.
What? How much?
I also got one of the little blower, just in case you don't want to dry my car with it. But I got the wrong adapter, so I can't fit this onto there, so I can't run it. But it's cool, you know. It doesn't have to be plugged in the whole entire time. It can just be chilling in the trunk, so it's not. It doesn't look like that. You just. But yeah, she's all ready, so we're gonna find a cool little spot. Maybe get one quick little video walk around for you guys. There it is. Aired out. Needs a wash, but it's cool. From what I can tell, I'm touching already. So maybe with the other wheels that I'm gonna throw on here, smaller profile tires, it might sit a little bit lower, but this thing's looking nice. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for today's video. If you guys like these little install videos, let me know. I can continue doing more of them. Hopefully I can do some on for the Datsun. But yeah, dude, this thing's looking crazy. It's looking good for a little daily. All right, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks.